Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode with the great, the informed, the proven,
Woo!
the groundbreaking,
Let's
the,
go.
the earth shaking,
Woo!
science nature himself,
Too
Dr.
much.
EnQi is in the building.
Man, that was yeah, every week that intro gets crazier and crazier.
EnQi, what's up, man? Welcome back. KeMedicine Volume 6. Volume 6. How you feeling this
Volume
week, man?
6?
Yeah, we on Volume 6
is
already.
crazy. Yeah, volume 6 is crazy. A lot of crazy stuff going on though.
Yeah? Like what?
Eh, you know, same old, I guess. People out there looking crazy. You know what's crazy? Here's the crazy thing. How it's about time that the people that started looking at the internet as crazy start being labeled the crazy ones, right? Because social media is a place where literally there's I think right now we at a place where every time you turn on YouTube or Instagram, there's like 150,000 posts being posted in that moment. That's how much new content is going up. Like, if somebody goes right now onto their phone and click onto their Instagram, at that moment that you clicked onto Instagram, 150,000 people posted in that like split second. When you go, oh man, what's going on right now? Let me check and see what's on YouTube. 150 in that second. Now, here's the thing. Because of your algorithm, 150,000 posts are not going to be channeled to your homepage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then beyond your algorithm is the algorithm itself, which, you know, not necessarily blocks things, but, it's got to funnel things. It's got to organize things. And, so there's a part of it that's shadow ban, and then there's a part of it that's it's like being on a team. You're on the bench this go round. Like you're just not, you're not starting right now. You know what I'm saying? So of the 150,000 things, the algorithm doesn't believe, right, that your thing that you posted is that relevant. So yeah, it's not going to be selected. But so when you monetize that kind of chaos and you create a situation where people are making a living in that sea of posts, you know, people are gonna do a lot of crazy things, to stand out, to get people's attention because I keep trying to explain to people, you know, so we went through this whole phase, right? We went through this whole phase where it was all about, and I want to say this was like late 90s. I want to say 90s period. 90s consciousness was about, and don't get mad at me, black folks. Sometimes I say things that trigger black folks to get angry with me. Sometimes I say things that triggers white folks to get angry with me. I want y'all to know that, if you measure over time, I tends to trigger white folks and black folks just about equally. So don't, if it's your moment, it just might be your moment. It's nothing personal. But
Here we
we
go.
seem to, yeah. Well, listen, I figured this time I put myself on the stand. I don't have to wait for HJ to get me up here to start insulting folks. I could just start insulting folks on my own.
Shout out Diesel. Shout out Dubes in the chat. What up, Dubes?
But like we get on to things late. White folks tend to get on to things that are intellectually centered or intellectually driven before we do, right? So sometimes that triggers black folks to know that, but it's a fact. So in the 90s, consciousness was all about the Matrix books. And I don't mean like Sophia Stewart and Neo and Morpheus. I mean, some people watching are gonna know what I mean when I say the Matrix books. But the Matrix books, they were like these books that came out. The books were like this thick. These are like 1,000-page books, and the books were selling for like $150 in the 90s. These books are underground, selling for $150, and the books were said to be authored by an alien. That's always the hustle. They were said to be written by an alien, and the entire, I mean, it had alien mysticism throughout the books, but it was mostly just sovereign citizen, jargon. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, it was it was heavy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we walking around with these books thinking like the feds is on us. Yeah, we like, yo, like folks is like we like smuggling these books like to each other's houses, and we having like whole little sessions, and like the drinks is flowing, the L's is moving around, and like we got these books, and we like, so that was deep info. You know what I'm saying? It was like, the Matrix, and but we got onto it late, and that was a whole wave, and that ushered in, the early 2000s idea of consciousness, and all of this is happening in the streets. All of this is happening in the community. There's not even a MySpace when this is going on. There's no MySpace. There's no social media. There's not even a Black Planet yet. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing. There's not even an idea of social media. And now you fast forward now, and people are making a living on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's still the majority of the people don't understand that the most valuable thing, right? And this is the only thing of value that was in those books, really, was like really reinforcing the idea that a fiat currency, right? Like 99% of what was in those books was dangerously trash. You know what I'm saying? Like dangerous information, but not dangerous like you're gonna make powerful change. Like just dangerous. Like it cost a lot of people a lot of time and money to unlearn what they learned, and hopefully they didn't do too much and acting on what they learned. But the one valuable thing, like I said, was fiat currency. And for me, the understanding of fiat currency wasn't so much about like, government conspiracy, Adam Weishaupt, 1717, Jekyll Island, Federal Reserve. Like, you know, it wasn't that. It was for me. I'm sure there's people in the audience that's, they were, because there's probably some people right now that are just getting their hands on some of that info and think they got some crazy info like, yo, you know about the Social Security number. Woo! Don't you wind up in the feds off of some YouTube videos. Let me warn you now. Don't you watch these videos and then wind up finding yourself in a worse situation. Listen. So anyway, for me, what was mostly impactful about that was learning what actually was valuable, right? When you learn that the currency, when you learn what fiat currency is, a promissory note, when you learn we've been off the gold standard, it's 2025, so we're going what nearly like 100 years almost. Like when for me, it was, and every so often I gotta remind folks I'm the minister, so I get in my God, I get on my soapbox, but for me, that's what it was. It was God, it was family, it was understanding what was truly valuable in life, right? And what people don't understand, and I try to break this down, and I try to, get this in the books, and I'm trying to get people to get the books and start reading to understand. You netchers out there done really lost your mind, like literally. We're at an all-time high of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia for a reason, right? You don't read anymore. Everybody's looking to watch the video, get the audio book, like get the shortcut. You don't realize that, and it's crazy because we got so many people that's working out. So on a certain level, they realize that if you don't work out the body, what you don't use, you lose. But it's like somehow it's a disconnect when it comes to their brain. Like they feel like they're using their brain by watching videos. You're not. You have to do the research. You got to take this info, find the things that you get passionate about that spark you, and then go read. Right? That's like you have to read. The same way you got to do push-ups, bench press for your body, you have to read for your mind. Math and music was given to us. That's a gift from God. But reading, encoding symbols with information and decoding those symbols, that is a gift. That's something man created for man. Like that's anyway. So I try to tell folks what's valuable, right? Because I spent a lot of time. Like for me, it was a deep. Like the way my mind is hardwired. You know what I'm saying? Like something's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I just figured out how to use my weakness as a strength. So people love, oh, EnQi got that info. Yeah, but this wasn't always like a cool thing for me because the way my mind works, like I can't sleep at night until I figure things out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, learning that all the money everywhere didn't have a value, like I was like really stuck. Like I needed to know what the value was. I was like, nah, it's not gold. Nope, nope, nope. I just unraveled. Something's happening right now, Mom. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna need a minute. I gotta figure this. Yeah, no, 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 no. Because we always give the excuse, like when we see atrocities around the world. Oh yeah, the rich people are, they're out for money and power. I'm like, ho, 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 ho. How come it's always the people that are infinitely rich that we give the pass, like they out for money? They have all the money already. They have literally more money than can be printed. They're not out for the money. They've got the money, right? They've got the money hundreds of generations deep. Like that's not what they're trying to do. Like these values that are in the Forbes are not even real values. You know that because you know that HJ because you know that in Silicon Valley a company will get evaluated on what their projection is for the next 10 years and they can get cashed out on that. So money is more of an idea than people actually think. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like when you think, oh, this person's net worth is this amount. That's not exactly that. Yeah, that doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Because some people's net worth is more fluid. Some people's more asset driven than people that are in future, like businesses that are going to be aggressively growing to the future. Their money is like, yeah, what Elon's money looks like, they can't really write that down. Jeff Bezos's money is like, it's not really. So my point is, and I know some of you are like, "EnQi, get to the point." No, 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 no. We're not just gonna get to the point. Okay, you gotta. It's like fine wine. This thing is, like this is a serious. You have to, yeah, yeah. We have to unveil this truth for you. We got to. So on my channel, right? On my channel, we was having this conversation, and we got into this pocket, right? And I said, well, Why do y'all think basketball players make so much money? And I could tell by some of the comments in the chat that people couldn't understand the segue. They was like, "Oh, EnQi, where you're all over the place, brother. What are we doing right now?" I said, let's work with me for a second. Humor me. Why are basketball players getting so much money? And they were getting a lot of money already. But the money just keeps going up and up and up. Like Michael Jordan was the highest paid player with $33 million. And they was thinking about letting him leave the NBA at his height. This is after the fifth ring. They was like 33 million. Is this is this Netcher serious? No, we're not paying 33. What is he talking? No, we're not. No. We'll just disband the team. We got already 5 rings. We're good. We're not paying anybody 33 million. Who is he? 33 million now is not even the franchise guy. That's like the second best player on the team. You got a good agent, that could be the third best player. What's homeboy with the messed up knee out there with the Suns? It is Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and what's the third guy? He was getting
Chat,
45,
chat. Who's the third guy out there?
45 million or something crazy like that. See, they don't even remember him. He was at Washington or one of them places. That
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal. Look at Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal getting 40 million. He the third best player on the team. So now that players are signing deals, like my man Jaylen Brown just signed a deal last year, I think, for $500 million. Yeah, something crazy like that. $500 million. Right? So now that players, and so I had to ask the folks, I said, what do you think they're getting paid for? Like, what is that? What kind of money is the ownership generating that they're getting so much of an increase on guys running up and down, they're playing basketball. I mean, we gotta relax. They're playing basketball. Like, where does the money come from? Right? And people were like throwing answers into the chat, and they like, this is that. I'm like, no, you're wrong. It's not. How many jerseys you think they selling? I'm like, no, that's not. No, the stadiums are not getting bigger. No, there's still the same amount of seats at the stadium, and then the seats been sky high already. So there's not like an infinite sky. They've been sky high already. So it's not. That's not where the new money's coming from. And you can't make guaranteed contracts on money that you're not sure you're going to get. FYI, that's not at the highest level of business. They're not doing that. They're not guaranteeing to pay players money that they're not sure they're going to earn. Right? They can project jersey sales, they can project ticket sales, but they those are not sure. That's not sure money, right? So I let this go on so people could guess what the NBA players are getting paid for. And then I finally told them. I'm about to finally tell y'all, right? They're getting paid for harvesting your attention. See, that's what I realized when I'm going through these books back in the 90s. The fiat currency thing hit me, and I'm like, oh, so the real value is your attention, literally. And so at that time period, that's kind of like, the gods, black, that was crazy. That was a nice Jew right there. That you build a god, things like that. You just kind of get like attaboys from the fellas. It's not really rolled out. You know what I'm saying? Like this is something, I'm kind of like the Lone Ranger with this back in the 90s, right? But now in 2025, is blatant. What's being harvested is your attention. And this is why there's an effort, a very strong effort, silent effort. They try to keep it invisible to keep you as dumb as possible. You don't count anymore for yourself. So there are large sections of your brain that are no longer getting exercises. Pay attention to the fact that exercise means like when you go to the gym and you work out, but exercise also means like when you do a mental exercise, like when you open up a textbook and you read the chapter, and then at the back it says exercise one, and it has a few questions for you to test you. Yeah, those are also exercises, right? So it's right there in front of you. But a lot of us working on that fifth grade vocabulary, so we're not correlating the fact that exercises is more than physical, right? So in today's world, it's blatant. It's your attention that they're harvesting, right? But they got to keep you dumb. You don't count. You don't read. You no longer write. They don't even teach writing in school anymore. Elementary schools, public schools, they don't even do script hand. It's crazy, right? So what the NBA players are getting paid for is larger deals that the NBA is doing with the corporations for advertisement. But advertisement is directly purchasing your attention. That's what they're paying for. Like literally, they're buying blocks of your attention. So the NBA is valuable because the NBA holds your attention. The Super Bowl is valuable because it holds your attention. And so, now I've over the years I've developed mantras, like to keep, like to subtly remind folks like spend time. Spend time paying attention, right? Spend time paying attention, right? See, right in front of you, the value is presented. We just never paid attention that we never paid attention, pun intended, that these terms are financial terms. You're spending time like you spend money. You pay attention like you pay a bill, right? These terms been sitting right in front of us. So, when people say now, to bring me back all the way to my first point, we've got to start looking at people that say, yo, because people hit me up about Yaki and Nick Cannon. You know, Nick Cannon has brung Yaki onto his platform, and Yaki is just so it's so shameful. But he's over there on Nick's platform, and he's telling people that cancer is actually a good thing. It's a protective mechanism of the body, and it's shameful. Yeah, yeah. But my point
How
is
you spell Yaki? Who is this Yaki person?
Yaki, YHKI.
Okay, I see something here.
Yeah. And it's it's just like I asked my folks the other day on a live stream. I said, if you don't think the game is rigged, right? If you don't think the game is rigged, what are the odds that the two most viral supplement dealers on the internet are named Brian Johnson?
Wait, it's two Brian Johnsons?
There are two Brian Johnsons. These are the most viral supplement dealers on the internet. One of them is the Liver King. The Liver King is Brian Johnson. And a lot of people don't even know the Liver King makes his money selling supplements. That's what the whole idea of the Liver King is. People don't pay attention. People don't see him as a supplement dealer because in our world we think of supplements like herbs. But Liver King is selling his cannibal supplements. He's selling body parts in capsules. That's what he's been selling. So he's got liver pills, heart pills, like literally powdered livers and hearts and all kind of organs. He's made millions of dollars doing it, right? He's got, children and women and everybody eating penises and testicles, and you know. But I'm just saying. And then the other Brian Johnson, the other Brian Johnson who's doing like the Tony Stark's version of health, like the Iron Man, he's got the laser beams and he's the $1 billion health program. You know what I'm talking about? Right. So what are the odds? Well, did you know that he's a supplement seller?
Nah, I didn't know that.
Right. See, he markets himself, you know, as like this one, like the seventh wonder of the world, and he's got this amazing technological approach to health and blah, blah, blah. But that's to run up his social media. And when you get to the social media, he sells you all his products. Like his best-selling product is Miracle Olive Oil, where he sells you extra virgin olive oil, but like $60 a bottle. Oh yeah, he's going crazy with that, right? But my point that I asked my audience is, I said again, what is the odds of all of the folks doing the health trend and selling supplements and herbs and oils and drinks and juices, and what are the odds that the most viral two guys on the internet are named Brian Johnson? Right? Just mathematically, like statistically, right? And then what are the odds that both of them are using steroids? Right? Like the whole thing is fake. You know what I'm saying? So like they're both like the same entity. Like like they're literally both the same entity. And I'm just saying, just like doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on my point, what they're doing is harvesting attention, right? They're harvesting attention because they're using steroids. And so people get caught in the six pack and the pecs and the physical look. They get ensnared in the look and go, oh yeah, Liver King is, man, this is ancestral. This is the ancestral, woo, man, this ancestral program is crazy because look at Liver King. He got a truck. He got a truck attached to his back. He's walking down the street barefoot with pulling a truck. Like this is, I gotta get me some of that. What is that? What is he eating? Raw penises and testicles? Babe, see if we go on to Google and see if we can find a butcher around here. I got to get me some. We gonna all have some of that because you know what? You got fibroids, babe. We gonna get some of them testicles. We eating testicles. Like, yeah, Brian Johnson, my man is over there. He got, he's he he's so elegant with it. And this is one of my pet peeves. So I really get insulted when people do this. Like when they speak over your head and they assume that like the little people in the room, they're not smart enough to know what's going on. So when the Tony Starks of health, right, I have to distinguish between the two of them. We got Liver King, we got the Tony Starks of health over here. Well, my man has said on actual interviews like, well, I'm on a exogenous testosterone replacement therapy. And folks didn't know what that was. People were like, wait, what is, wow, what, that's amazing. EnQi, do you have some of that to sell? I'm like, wait, what do you mean? You don't know what that is? That's steroids. Are you trying to set me up to go to prison? What, you don't know what that is?
TRT?
Exogenous testosterone replacement therapy.
Is TRT a steroid? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's legal. Well, you got to remember. Hold on. You got to remember. Steroids has always been legal when prescribed by doctors. Steroids are not, like it's not like crack cocaine or heroin where it's always illegal no matter what. Like there's no legal version of crack. You know what I'm saying? Like Steroids, the only problem is that bodybuilders were getting their own plugs, grabbing their own supply, and then reselling it on the side. So you're getting steroids with no prescription. So steroids has always been legal, right? So now, starting with the Chinese guy, like I see, because this is my field, I pay attention to all this. But there was like a Chinese guy on YouTube, and you notice you don't see him anymore. But there was a Chinese guy on YouTube, and he was talking about you can get a six pack in 10 days, and there's an afterburner effect with the workout program he's got. You're gonna get guaranteed six pack less than 6 weeks, and blah 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 blah. He made a bazillion dollars and vanished once they figured out he was scamming. Then after that, there was an old man, about 60 years old, with muscles, and he used to have a young girl, and oh, how come your body looks like so amazing? It's the same thing over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Steroids, get the look, then you sell the. So, but TRT is basically, you get steroid injections like everybody else. You get a shot in the booty, a shot in the arm, a shot in the stomach. You get steroids. But so TRT is legal steroids. That's what TRT is. So there wasn't always a thing of that.
So
But after
wait.
okay.
Biochemically, steroids and TRT are not the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Hmm. Absolutely. When you go on TRT, you're getting steroids. Yeah, yeah. They just, they're just they're conversationally different. They're socially different, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you how it evolved. Like, so once you get the Chinese guy and he goes boom on YouTube with the six pack in 6 weeks program, they find out he's scamming with this. Then the old guy, he come through, his little run. He had a few year run, made his little bag, he vanished, right? John Q. Public, and then you notice the big platforms, like all this is all they all works together. You know what I'm saying? So the big platforms, they start talking about how important and amazing testosterone is, and blah blah blah. Basically doing paid promo for the TRT programs. And so TRT is relatively new for John Q. Public to be able to go, at 35, 40. And then also the Viagra money influenced it. You know what I'm saying? Like the doctor's like, yo, we want to get a taste of this sex driven industry as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the main thing driving TRT. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really cares about anything else but sex. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can get my TRT, I can get my testosterone back to high school levels. Yeah, legally. You know what I'm saying? And your Medicaid or your insurance might cover it. Like, don't even worry about this. Going to the doctor, get checked out, and you get just. So this is why all of a sudden, like if you follow the bodybuilding era, right? There was a time period where certain people were like you heard the term gifted genetics. Like, yo, this guy's got really amazing genetics, you know. Now everybody has amazing genetics. Yeah, because they realize genetics comes in a bottle. Yeah, it's called steroids. That'll turn those genetics right around, right? So what happened is, your man is, so obviously everybody didn't know about TRT, so now we know TRT is legalized steroids, right? So typically, that's how it's kind of like weed, you know what I'm saying? You can still get weed off the corner in the neighborhood, but now you can also get weed legally in certain places, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what TRT is, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, so Brian Johnson, he's got exogenous testosterone replacement therapy, so people couldn't catch it, because everybody fully wasn't hip to TRT in the first place. So when he said exogenous, that just threw a word on there that most people was like, yeah, what I want some of that. Yeah, whatever that is. I like his skin and his muscles, it looks amazing. He said he's aging back. What's off of exogenous test? Ah, EnQi. I get a whole bunch of, yo, who is this guy right here? He got the exogenous. Which herb do that? Like, so I'm like, no, no, no. That just means that he has testosterone lotion. He's rubbing on testosterone. That's that's all that means, guys. He's rubbing on. He has a very high quality baby oil. He has a designer baby oil that he's rubbing in. That's going to boost his testosterone a couple hundred numbers. Yeah, so his testosterone is going to go from a three or 400 to like a seven, eight, 900. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's still steroids. He's paying more for it, but it's steroids nonetheless.
How do you substantiate the claim that it's steroids?
Well, I mean, that's what steroids are. That's synthetic hormone, synthetic anabolic hormones. That's what steroids are.
See, I got the dudes, I'll be pushing the Apex and then they be like, man, just do TRT. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
Right? No, see, boom. You see, God put me and you together for a reason. See, so remember I said I got something similar to the Apex, right? So I've been getting that same thing for the longest. When Liver King jumped on the scene, see, that's the thing about me. I've been doing this so long, I've seen them come and I've seen them go. And it always happens the same way. They doing their thing, and they got this amazing story about how they got this new health amazing program. Like the my man Brian Johnson, the Tony Stark said, oh, he's got this, he sleeps every night in the cryo chamber and he's in the hyperbaric chamber and he spends, 20 minutes a day in the ice plunge and he's doing this, doc, and that, and la da 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 da. I'm like, listen, I'm telling you, our ancestors built the pyramids. Nobody has outdone that yet, family. So I'm telling you what they done told me. Like I'm gonna tell you what the Netras told me. Listen, there's nothing else. Everything else is Pinocchio, right? That's what it is. It's Pinocchio. If you go to the arcade and you stay in there too long because you think it's amazing, you're getting ready to start mutating. The human body works a certain way. There's no way to cheat that process. There's no way to cheat that process. You know what
So
I'm
what
saying?
could
Like
go wrong with the TRT, man? They get the big muscles and the testosterone levels is up. What could possibly be wrong with that?
nothing. It depends on what you want out of life, what your goals are in life. Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I just want something different for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not knocking it because have you ever seen like a person on TRT or illegal steroids or any version of steroids live a long time?
Not that I know of.
Never.
They look like they're aging really fast, to be honest with you.
It's never been done. Never. I study the longest living people. Like when you have a person that lived to 100 and it's just one time, it's a fluke. When you have cultures where people typically continuously live 95, 107, 103, 98, like that's the culture does that, then that's not a fluke. That's a byproduct of how they live. And so you never see people living a long time. But here's the thing, the fiat. See, it goes back to the early we've we've we value no value more than we actually value substance. So yeah, why not hit the Greg Doucette, you know what I'm saying? Hit the steroids, get a few million, just come up with any cockamamie, crazy, ridiculous program that like just come up with anything that goes against what everybody else is already saying, and then take off your shirt and have a six pack. People will buy. Like that's the program. Like literally, Liver King has women and children eating penises and testicles like that. I don't even know how he could get away with that. Like in the world we're in, where P Diddy's on trial, Epstein got mysteriously. I don't even. We don't even know whether that was whatever happened to Epstein in prison. Something happened to Epstein in there, right? So that's still a mystery, right? But how is it that you got children eating penises on the internet? Like, how does that go? Like, I mean, you got children that are eating penises on the internet. I'm super confused. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, hold on. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to let my children watch. I'm like, yo, hold, don't put that. No, take that on. No, don't put that on you. Yeah, no, don't watch that, Liver King. No, Dad, he's working out. Like, it's not. Don't put that on your program. Don't. Because I don't, like we live in a world now where you could do something that's okay today, and 15 years from now, they might come get you and say that was illegal, or you canceled. You let your kids do what? So I'm like, hold on now. We not watching, hey, Daddy has banned Liver King at this location. There is no Liver King in my, I don't know, like I just don't know how everybody else is letting them get away. Like I'm just confused on a lot of things. Like, are we against pedophilia, or it's like we're supporting it because, or bestiality, like is pedophilia bad but bestiality good, like because the kids are putting testicles and penises in their mouths on the internet, like I and people are like, yo, we got to do this is yo, we're gonna get this six pack and we're gonna have some vitality, and I'm like, is that all you have to tell folks? Like what? like So I'm trying to get folks to jog and read books. Like that's why I'm having an uphill battle, because I'm trying to get you to jog and read books. Well, I could have just told you to eat testicles and penises at the live stream. You know what I'm saying? Like
So
so.
I talked to Tanai. Tanai said with the TRT, what may happen is the body depends on the TRT to produce testosterone. So when you top taking it, the body's not producing testosterone at the same levels it would be.
Okay, so here's the thing with Tanai, and this is why me and Tanai are probably going to be like a good combination. See, because back in the days, right? I always got a story, you know what I'm saying? So back in the days, I'm from New York. If y'all don't know, I know your audience is from all over. I'm from New York. Y'all might be able to tell by how I talk, right? So, I always think I know something. New York is full of folks that think they know it all. I'm one of them folks, right? So my two older brothers, they like, yo, next time you get a few dollars, put it to the side, save up. We want to get into some real estate. So the way my mind is wired, I'm like, all right, I know how I'm gonna do it. I know how little brother is going, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go get me a real estate license and do things, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go get the textbooks and study up and get the license and woo woo woo. So I go get the textbook, get the license. Man, I was under so many different constraints and regulations as a license, like they was like, bro, we can't even rock with you because we can't do nothing with you. Yeah, we can't do nothing with you. Like you may just be able to evaluate some deals for us, but you can't move. You lost your ability to move and shake because now you have a lot of regulations. So in the scenario with me and Tanai, it's the opposite, right? Tanai is a PhD in the school system, so he has to say things like, well, there's a possibility that when you use the TRT, he's got to, but I'm going to say it's less of a possibility. You are now a zombie paying to be alive for the rest of your life.
Wait,
It's a
what?
wrap.
What do you
You're
mean?
never going to be the same once you go on TRT. Ever, ever. Never, ever, ever. You will never be the same. And most people, Tanai was putting it nice by saying you won't produce testosterone at the same level. Most people, their bodies will stop producing any viable level of testosterone, period. It is a wrap. You might as well be paying for oxygen because John Q. Public only thinks of testosterone on a surface level. They think of sex, they think of muscles. They don't realize that testosterone is regulating your brain, your heart, you know, your ability to regenerate, your cognitive, your psychology. Like there's a lot that your body depends on for with testosterone. Ladies too. Ladies running around thinking, "Oh, testosterone is the male hormone." No, 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 no. You ladies got testosterone too, and that's the reason why ladies is getting fibroids so crazy because your testosterone is all jammed up just as well. So that's what leads to fibroids is testosterone problems in women. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has a balance of hormones. You know what I'm saying? So once you start to, the human body is the most complex system in the known universe. And the only way it's able to do the magic that it does is because it has this like cutthroat, insane, just the most efficient system ever. And anything that you start to come in with exogenously, your body goes, "Oh, you got that covered? Okay, cool." That's like if you pay for your son's cell phone bill and then all of a sudden he start paying for his own cell phone bill. You like, wait, whoa, you got that covered? Woo! Thank you. Man, you growing up, you doing all right. Yeah, that's something I no longer have to worry about. So now you go on off to you forget you ain't that's yeah, so your body washes its hands with testosterone. You done figured out how to make your own. Yeah, keep that going. So that's a wrap. That is the danger of steroids. The danger of steroids is the same danger of, but with the TRT, you know, um, it's a much slower drip. It's a much slower drip. You know what I'm saying? So they're not gonna like guys that are bodybuilding are usually taking multiple different types of steroids. The ones that are popular, they start winning contests, they start getting, supplement deals and all that. They get a little bit of money. They can add HGH. HGH is way more expensive than steroids. So everybody doesn't have access to HGH, but they'd like to have access to it, right? So usually once they start winning, they get their money together, then they start adding HGH to the cycle. So they stay on stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time for a contest, they they use a different type of, steroids to cut and come down. Whereas, like back in Arnold's day, the bulking season was the time that they used steroids. And then when it was competition time, they cycled off steroids altogether. Nowadays, they just go through different seasons of using different types of steroids. You know what I'm saying? And so it's crazy. There's even athletes and bodybuilders that use insulin. They shoot insulin as a steroid because insulin is a super powerful steroid. People just don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But insulin's a very powerful steroid. You know what I'm saying? Like your fast twitch muscle, like this is the thing that people see. It's a lot. That's why it's in the books. You know what I'm saying? Like people got to go get the books. Go to Amazon, type in my name, get the books. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all gotta go get the book. Get the KeMedicine book. Like start there. Go get these books, right? Because you have to learn this stuff, or else you'll be running around following trends and messing up your body. Like earlier, I was explaining to Chase, because Chase is in his phase. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I gotta push him away from me a little bit sometime because I'm like, bro, you 16, you about to be 16. I'm about to be 50. I love you, but you can't always follow what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he like, well, hold on, Dad, because in this book, in this book it says, I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen, in this book here it says fast twitch muscle grows in response to sugar. Fast twitch muscle are the largest muscles you have. So there is no getting really big muscles without sugar. So all these folks that think they're going on zero carbs, you're killing yourself. There's no such thing as a healthy body on zero carbs. Like these all protein, all fat, like none of these are real. Photosynthesis, like literally, this is the system to feed us. Like this, it's the center of the food chain. There's no such a thing as I have a diet plan that like I'm outsmarting God. Like I'm cutting out carbs. Like what? Who told who raised these? Like where you guys getting this from? No. Fast twitch muscles are the largest muscles and they grow so that they can store more glycogen. That's literally what's happening in there, right? So I know people have conversations about hypertrophy and this is when you're working the muscle, you're driving the muscle to want to work harder and blah 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 blah. The way fast twitch muscle does that is by storing more and more glycogen. Well, in order to store more glycogen, it has to get larger. So that's like the simplified version of what's happening there. But if you're not, if you don't have carb. This is why bodybuilders carb load. This is why marathon runners carb load. This is why performance athletes they know what they're doing. They manage their carbs. They go periods where they may cut carbs, but then they go periods where they binge carbs. Like they know what they're doing. John Q. Public, that's at home trying to be healthy, jumping through YouTube channels, doesn't know what they're doing. So John Q. Public gets confused. See what I'm saying? So yeah, it's
So it's just your body. That's it. That once you start the TRT, you said it's a slow drip, but the more
no,
you
yeah,
take
it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
for the
It's a
first dose, or as you continue to take it.
as you continue to take it.
Right.
As you continue to take it, more and more you get your body on to that. And like where it may take a bodybuilder, you know, 3 to 6 months for his body to adapt and start shutting down the fountain of youth. TRT, it may take him 12 months, maybe, something to that effect. But it's over.
Damn.
It's a wrap.
They
Yeah, it's
they
a
they
wrap.
they pushing that stuff heavy out here. I see the. I ain't gonna say no names, but I got a particular white guy. He loves to come up my benches talk about TRT. He's all jacked up, veins coming out. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because there's no conversation about the difference between health and fitness. There's no conversation about that. So most people believe that health is fitness. And I asked those people, well, how come the bodybuilders catch heart attacks? I'm like, yo, if the health is fitness, where are the 100-year-old bodybuilders? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Yeah, see, we don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. And in order to have a health versus fitness conversation, we have to go back into the slave trade. We have to talk about slavery in America, right? We have to talk about the origin of fitness. Fitness is something that the masters wanted for the slaves. That's what that was about. Health was something the masters wanted for themselves. Health is about intelligence. Health is being 80, 90 years old, able to read, count, think, use your mind, remember all your grandkids, great grandkids' names, voices, like have all your memories. Like that's health. Fitness is being able to carry like 5 boxes instead of carrying 2 boxes. That's what fitness is. Fitness is physical performance, right? So you can be incredibly fit and not like be healthy, right? So we've been sold this idea. This is why jobs started giving everybody at the job. Like, when do y'all know jobs to give you free stuff? Like, that should have been a red flag. Soon as your job was like, yo, 15% discount to LA Fitness, you should have just automatically, like, wait a minute. All the companies are giving us 20, 15, 20, 25% off of gym memberships. What is this for?
They want you. They want you more productive.
They want you more productive. They don't want you healthier. They don't want you living longer. They got you insured. They want you to drop dead for you collect any money. Yeah, they don't want you hitting retirement. And no. living longer gives you the ability to amass more power, money, intelligence, have more children, build a larger family, like the things that actually matter in real life. Like that's not, so that was for the wealthy. Health is reserved for the wealthy. That's not for the public. The public. That's why it's a coincidence that those folks that Kanye talks about a lot of the times. We're not going to say who, but those the like the longest living people in America.
Jews?
You said it, not me, but yeah, it's your platform. I'll let you say the
Really?
things that could.
So the Jews are one of the longest living people?
Not one of. They're the longest living people in America.
Really?
Yeah, as a culture, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Interesting.
and they're not taking any steroids.
So somebody says with the TRT, what they tell the people is a cycle off and cycle on. Why you laughing
Listen,
at that?
because that's just human nature, how we justify our own BS. You know what I'm saying? Like people like, nah, weed ain't a drug. It's natural. It comes from nature. Okay. Weed is not a drug, huh? So if you don't have any weed, can you go to sleep tonight? If you can't sleep at night without it, buddy, yeah, that's a drug. You wake up tomorrow and you can't eat before you smoke, yep, that's addiction, just in case you didn't know.
Straw Dad said the natural bodybuilding space has been leading a massive charge for the last decade on health and fitness. The problem is that no one refers to them when they talk about bodybuilding. They refer to what they see as popular. This is the same conundrum as the algorithm not being positive. If you don't promote the positivity, you won't see the positivity, and that's primarily what's happening.
Well, here's the thing, and Strong Dad is correct, but to add context, 70% of the natural bodybuilding community, the natties, 70% of the natural bodybuilding community is on steroids. Listen, that is the most popular YouTube subject in the bodybuilding community. Debating who's natural and who's not. Like that's literally how it
Yeah,
goes. You know
Strong
what I'm
Dad always
saying?
gets accused of taking steroids.
And it's like a graduation process. Guys go through the natural and they do their thing for a while natural, and they kind of, sometimes they reach a ceiling, and in order to get to that next level, because they deal with the frustration of not being able to get, because some people are working out for themselves. Some people would like to compete and do supplements and all those other things. And you can't really get to those, they deal with the frustration. And pretty soon they're like, you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? But the big money is not being with the Chris Bumsteads and, like those guys that admit that they use steroids, because that's the big boys. That's not where the money is at. The money is actually pretending to be natural while using the steroids, bringing us back to our Brian Johnsons. That's where the money is, right? Right now, Greg Doucette is getting busted because he's making a whole bunch of money off of promoting one of these guys that's supposed to be natural, Israel Haddad or something crazy. I forgot the guy's name. I don't even know the whole story, but he's zooped up on. You can look at him and see my man zooped up on. Like, but that's where the so I agree with Strong Dad, but the problem is half, more than half the natural
Well,
bodybuilding
he's
community.
saying there's a difference to talk about the natural body community versus the popular
No, yeah,
natural.
no, I'm with him. I'm with him. I'm just saying that within the natural bodybuilding community, most of those guys are juicing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's because it's all about standing out. It's all about standing out. You know what I'm saying? And having an edge, having an advantage. You know what I'm saying?
He
So
mentioned Larry Wheels and Mike Israetel are the real natural bodybuilders.
What? No, Larry Wills. No, he that must be a typo.
He
Larry Wills is absolutely not natural.
he says they are jokes of the industry, but we are referring to them when we are talking about this topic. When we should really be referring to someone like Larry Wills or Mike Israetel. Also, you know, he's saying Larry Wills and Mike Israetel are the jokes.
Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I like Mike Israetel because he's honest. I don't mind guys that's honest about what they're doing, like to their audience. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not where the danger comes in. The danger comes in when the guys are saying they're natural and they're so muscular because they're eating penises, or they have a computer designing their supplements with, like they got laser beam therapy and, like, so people are getting misled into believing all kinds of crazy foolishness. And so then that ciphers down to the natural community where you got guys selling, $1,500 cancer detox kits, teaching people that, cancer is a protective mechanism, or humans were not designed to drink water, only to eat water, and all kinds of foolish ridiculousness. Like it's, you know,
So so
people are
so so
people are out there promoting that, we supposed to drink urine. It's a powerful antioxidant. Like, bro, it's wild out here, man.
the Dai Yaki said cancer's good for you.
Bro, it's wild out here, man. That's what I'm saying. So in the KeMedicine book, right? In the KeMedicine book, I have a book titled Bioelectricity where we kind of get deeper into the subject. But in the KeMedicine book, if you guys don't have this book, go to Amazon now, add this to your cart and check out. Get the KeMedicine book. But it talks about bioelectricity. It talks about, the generation of electricity, but it also talks about cancer in a very real way. And it talks about the transition of cancer philosophy and cancer ideology, and the way the large institutions are beginning to change their tune from the Darwinistic idea of cancer, being a nuclear DNA mutation, towards, a more of a comedic, even though they're not going to say, a comedic philosophy, but that's what it really actually is. They're going to credit Thomas Seyfried. Thomas Seyfried's going to credit Otto Warburg, but it's a comedic philosophy because we go back to the legend of Osiris, the legend of Usyr. His blood was fermented fruit sugar. So that can't ever be taken off the record as much as people would like to. You know what I'm saying? Especially since I'm the guy that. But that's what it is. His blood is fermented fruit sugar, and his body was dismembered, amputated, chopped up, like there's a lot of things to get from the symbolism of the way they taught back then. And, so now it's all about looking at, mitochondria and cellular respiration. And so that conversation is about bioelectricity, even though the term bioelectricity is still not being used popularly. When you talk about mitochondria as the root of cancer, or cellular respiration as the root of cancer, that's what you're talking about. Because cellular respiration is, one of the primary bioelectric systems in our body. Like that's one of the other big conversations in the book, is that two of the three primary ways our body produces electricity is the cellular membrane, right? And the cellular membrane is made of phospholipids, and then the mitochondria membrane, right? Because in the cristae of the mitochondria, that's the membranes, right, is where the electron transport chain is. And in there, They're recycling phosphorus, whereas the cell membrane is made out of phosphorus. So at both places where electricity is produced, phosphorus plays a key role. But but that's the conversation. Even though the term bioelectricity is not really used, that's what it is. Is it comes back to that conversation, because cells have a way of producing or recycling ATP on their own without the help of mitochondria. It's just a lot slower. And it's the fermentation process, you know, identical almost to producing alcohol. Just the last step in the biochemistry is a little different, but it's almost exactly identical to how you would produce alcohol through fermentation. And your cells produce ATP a lot slower. You know what I'm saying? So that is where the cancer conversation is going. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
So, so
Go
you
ahead.
you text me earlier. You mentioned bioelectricity. What is it that we need to understand about bioelectricity? Why is bioelectricity so important?
Wow. What time is it?
909.
Man, that's a whole man, that's a series of shows right there. That is a series of shows right there. Why is bioelectricity 909 too? That's a nice number right there. 909. That's like, folks that's into numbers, they like, man, that's a number right there. Yeah, that's a serious question at 909. You know what I'm
That's a
saying? But
triple nine right there.
come on now. But so the answer is everything in your body runs on electricity. So a long time ago, I sat myself to the task of figuring it out. Like I was obviously inspired by Dr. Sebi, right? Dr. Sebi's the guy who popularized the idea of the body being electric in the black community. But in the larger community, most people know Robert O. Becker. And, me, I was influenced by both Dr. Sebi and Robert O. Becker. So I always mention them together as like the godfathers of bioelectricity. Sebi on the herbal, on the herb side, and Robert Becker more on the technical, institutional, side. And then, a lot of people are familiar with his book, The Body Electric. You know what I'm saying? Less people are familiar with the second book, which was better than the first, Cross Currents. But yeah, they set me to the task, like they set my mind on fire trying to figure out this whole electricity thing. And that's kind of where, I kind of got, people misconstrued. They say, oh, EnQi is trying to attack Sabi because, I'm the guy that said, hold up, the body's not electric. The body runs on light. And then, that went crazy in and of itself. But everything in your body, the basic fundamental thing of your body that keeps everything together, that runs everything, is electricity. Is electricity. So your body has a wide variety of ways of funneling electricity into other forms of language. So cells have different languages that they speak. The natural fundamental language is electricity, but the cells then convert that into other forms of language. And so I had to kind of familiarize myself a little bit with, cytokines and chemokines and myokines. Because at the time, when I'm studying this stuff, the popular conversation is hormones, like hormones tell the body what to do and blah, blah, blah. So you got the gland system. And I was already super leery of the gland system because, like the chakra folks they try to like superimpose and I was like, oh, anything that's related to instant red flag. So I'm challenging. So, I was like, no, there has to be a deeper more fundamental, than the glandular system, because the glandular system requires instruction too, right? So what's the fundamental, and so I started digging into the relationship of cells to cells. And early on, I knew there had to be something different than nuclear DNA, because nuclear DNA kind of has all the information. But once cells differentiate, they kind of stick to their groups, until cells become senior citizens and lose their cells have dementia. They that's what cellular dementia cellular dementia is senescence. You know what I'm saying? So cells get dementia just like people do. You know what I'm saying? And they forget their identity, they forget their family members. It's called senescence. You know what I'm saying? So you get senescent cells, but yeah, so I wanted to figure out, like the most fundamental aspect of, the thing that glued cells together, really, and so yeah, it's electricity. You know what I'm saying? It's bioelectricity. And so that's where my first herbal compound, you know what I'm saying, is chemiluminescence. You know what I'm saying? Like people still don't really get the term. When I first started saying chemiluminescence, people accused me of making that word up. They was like, what? They just made that word up. That's not even a real word. I was like, it's all right. Don't worry. 5 years, 10 years, it'll fall. You'll get it. You'll get it soon. Don't worry about it. Chemiluminescence, it'll hit you. But that's how the body actually works. It's chemiluminescence. They like, nah, that's not even a real. I'm like, it's okay. That's why I'm gonna write these books. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you because I can't just if you at the fifth grade level and then I'm speaking at the college, collegiate, it's a lot of room in there. So I get it. So I'm gonna have to bring you. I'm gonna have to bring you up to the, and that's masonry teachers. You meet folks on the level they at, then you raise them. So that's what I've been trying to do is raise folks' understanding of themselves because that's how you're able to see the real value in this world, taking us back to the money conversation. Because people don't understand their value, they don't understand what value is. So they think that, oh no, the American dollar is going down because this dollar is going up. And I'm like, all the dollars are fake without people are the value. It's not. Invest in people. You never go wrong, right? Invest in people. You will never go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bioelectricity regulates all of the systems. All of the systems speak bioelectricity. Even the popular conversation now that they said the whole black community was pseudo for. Remember, they said the black community is still on the internet where they teach that, melanin, militant blacks teach melanin pseudoscience about light contributing to the body and blah, 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 blah. Only to come up with quantum blah blah blah. Like it's crazy. But the whole conversation about light and the sunlight does this and that and photobiology and photomodulation and light therapy and all of those different things. Well, this was a part of my beef early on with folks jumping up in front of people teaching they not studying because you're just regurgitating stuff that you're hearing from places like, oh yeah, melanin is human photosynthesis, melanin is human chlorophyll. I'm like, no, melanin is not. What's wrong with y'all? Melanin is not photosynthetic. Melanin is photovoltaic. And they're like, EnQi just keep making these words up. What is he getting? But I'm the first person on earth to say melanin is photovoltaic. So nobody wants to really reference, a guy from 158th Street with gold teeth as like, where they're getting their intelligence from. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're like, they rather say the wrong thing than say the right thing because then they got to credit, the doctor with the gold teeth. You know what I'm saying? But that's what pigment does. Human pigment primarily absorbs light and converts light into electricity. That's the whole idea of light in the human body.
Now, just so you know, we're going to war with that group of people because you
That's why I love
mentioned
you. That's why I love you.
You know that group of people that
No, that's
said,
why
you
I
know,
love
this
you.
is
That's why I love you. Yeah, that's why I love
melanin
you.
pseudoscience.
No, that's why I love you.
We
That's
taking
yeah.
them out. That's because those is black folks. Those ain't
Listen,
white
that's
folks
why I
writing.
listen. That's why I love HJ. I have no problem being a private in your army, sergeant. What you need me to fix the planes? Like I could be a cook in the, I'm good. Oh, what? How if I'm in the army? I'm good. Yeah, yeah, I'm good. And yeah, yeah, yeah. As long as I'm on HJ side, you know what I'm saying? Like back in the days when you choosing up teams, like yo, that's a bomb squad. You can't put them together. No, we on the same team. Yeah, yeah. HJ team.
Because
Yeah.
they've been targeting, you know,
No, yeah, they
Sabi
have to. No,
and
they have to. They have to. They have to because the thing is, it started with intellectual property theft, and so it's been going on for like a good 2,500 years. You know what I'm saying? Since Alexander the Great got the keys to the kingdom. You know, it's been going on since then. You know, and that's where the hustle started. You know what I'm saying? The hustle started then, but then it blew up like 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because back then they start coming up with this plan, basically like theoretical science. You know what I'm saying? Because in Kemet, it was like, the show me. It was like, show me. If you know it, show it to me. Like, let me see that you understand this science by demonstrating it. You understand architecture and geometry at a high level? Great. Build something. You understand lenses and pigment? Great. Build something. Like, show me what you got. In Greek, they got a whole bunch of stuff they didn't understand. So they set a different type of standard where you could write ideas down on paper and be the owner of the philosophy. Like, no, 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 I was the first one to write it down. Like, ho, ho, ho. You wrote something down that they built into that structure right there. You can't claim, yeah, but show me where they wrote it down at. Like, oh my goodness, I can't deal with you. But it's cool because if you just watch long enough, things go in reverse. So, late 1800s, early 1900s, the Germans kind of got into their own beef about that. You know what I'm saying? Like demonstrating verse. And that's where you get guys like Oliver Heaviside and some of the science guys that you never hear of. You know what I'm saying? You hear about Einstein and you don't even really hear about Einstein. You hear about Einstein's early stuff where he was making mistakes. You don't really hear where Einstein came back out and made the retractions later on. You know what I'm saying? And so it's they had their own war about theoretical versus real proven like living science back 100 or so years ago. But theoretical science won out. So you got a lot of, crazy stuff going on that's unproven that, is science because, we can draw up the equation. Like this is real science because we can write it out.
crazy.
We can't demonstrate anything. Like there's no fundamental gravity particle, you know what I'm saying? But like it's real because, we have equations to demonstrate it.
Nasty
So,
word.
but like that's what the whole thing is. And so you know, in your body, bioelectricity is the fundamental language of life. Your pigments are converting light into electricity. Your bones and your hard tissues are all piezoelectric, which means they convert sound, they convert pressure into electricity. So so this is where guys are going off, with the cymatics and they're going into, but you get lost in the spooky stuff because if you start trying to, surf YouTube into cymatics, it's not going to take you long before you wind up in a chakra video. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets, bro, listen, I'm telling you, it's crazy out there. These people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting high, they watching YouTube. It's wild out there. You watch too many cymatics. You got like 2 or 3 cymatics videos before you watching chakras. Like it's wild out there. You know what I'm saying? So to really get an understanding of sound and biochemistry, for the people that's watching, what you want to do is get Dr. EnQi's book. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding, but also on top of Dr. EnQi's material, right? You can go get, books on or just pull up some articles on piezoelectricity, right? Piezoelectricity, that'll put you in a good space. Um, sonoluminescence, right? That might, yeah, I don't know why I said that. That might be too advanced, but you can start with piezoelectricity, but sonoluminescence is, but now that I done said it, but sonoluminescence is where sound produces light. So, I had a whole time period where I was like a sonoluminescence junkie. So when I dropped my album was called Sound Becomes Light. You know what I'm saying? And people was like, bro, that's not, I was like, you know me long enough to know, stop saying that. You look it up before you look. Yeah. So sonoluminescence is how light is produced from sound. You know what I'm saying?
Sonoluminescence is a phenomenon where tiny bubbles in a liquid emit flashes of light when subjected to intense sound waves. It's a fascinating example of sound creating light, and it's not fully understood by scientists.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a the cymatic space is good, but there's like a lot of crazy stuff seeping into it. So the safe spaces are to look at, piezoelectricity, because uh, um, you have a lot more written stuff, pertaining to biology, because your skeleton is piezoelectric, and everything that has to do with bone density has to do with piezoelectricity. That's how you build bone, right? That's the reason why there's a such thing as called plyometrics. Plyometrics is, exercising with, a whole bunch of jumping and built into the workouts, because did I just mess this up? No, I think I did good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can you hear
can.
me still?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good. All right.
It's like
So,
it's like the Burpee King. He got the jumps involved in the burpees.
well, jumps is important because you have to shock the bones. You have to put actual mechanical pressure on them. You have to, the bones are piezoelectric, you know what I'm saying? So we don't get that, you know what I'm saying? And folks is like, well, I want to save my joints. And so I've been doing swimming and biking. All right, that's cool. But you're saving your joints at the cost of your bones. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna let your bones rot away. You know what I'm saying? Your bones have to be shocked. That's why running is so good, because running does a lot of different things for your body at the same time. One of them is shocks the bones. But a lot of people, they don't understand piezoelectricity, so they tell people to stop running because running puts too much pressure on your bones. No, the problem is that your nutrition is not matching your workout because you don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So nutrition and rest have to match your exercise, because if you're out exercising your nutrition, or you're out exercising your sleep, your body's not going to get the chance to heal in response to the pressure that you're putting on it. And that's whether you're lifting weights, doing calisthenics, jumping rope, doing plyo, whatever the case may be. You have to have the nutrition and you have to have the sleep, so that the exercise is meaningful, that your body's able to repair itself stronger from what you're doing. But yeah, those are the primary signals. So, and then on the flip side, nutrition without those signals is a waste of time. You're just going to urinate it out or poop it out. You know what I'm saying? Because your body doesn't need it. And so it's the electric signals that determines everything. It sets the gauge for everything. I tell people all the time, you're wasting, like, especially folks dealing with sugar issues. If you're dealing with diabetes or high blood pressure, protein can be dangerous for you, because we're in a protein like frenzy. Because a lot of us, again, we don't know the difference between health and fitness. So we're watching bodybuilders for health information, and that's not, they're not. Most of them are not healthy. Like they just have big muscles. That's not so we're watching them and they're 300 grams of protein, 400 grams of going crazy. But the thing with them is they're working their body in a way where they're utilizing most of the protein they take. Even when they take crazy large numbers of protein, they're utilizing most of it because of the workload they're putting on their body. But John Q. Public, who's exercising, 30 minutes in the gym two, three times a week, he's trying to have a protein shake every day. He eating deli meat at lunchtime. He got a steak at dinner time. Like he's proteined out of his brain. And what us what people don't understand is your body doesn't store protein. Your body only really stores protein as muscle. So any protein that you consume that your body doesn't need to reinforce muscle, right? Especially if it's not collagen, based, it's not, you know, glycine or hydroxyproline or if it's not a collagen, your body's going to turn that into sugar. So excess protein becomes sugar in your body. So you might as well have had cotton candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people don't get that. Like it's about the requirement. So you got to produce the current, you got to speak the language of your body, right? And you got to, and then feed the need. You got to figure out that need. You got to get right to that need. What is that need? And feed that, nothing more. It's better to be a little bit under than to be over. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just think over because we coming out of poverty mentality. So we want more, more, more. We think more is always better, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything though is driven by, these electric signals. You know what I'm saying? For your bones to grow, for your muscles to grow, for your organs to function. Even when we hear things like VO2 max, folks like, VO2 max is the gold standard of longevity. Well, VO2 max is just a proxy for, how well your body's electrical system is running. 'Cause that's kind of what it's measuring. You know what I'm saying? On the surface level, it's, oxygen metabolism. But oxygen metabolism has a lot of different facets to it. Oxygen metabolism tells you, what your iron levels are, what your inflammation levels are. It tells you how well your respiratory system is coupled to your metabolism. There's just a whole bunch of different variables that get reduced to VO2 max. It's like if all these things are running well, then yeah, you have a very efficient VO2 max. You know what I'm saying? But that's really a measure of the electrical systems and how they're all running, So yeah, bioelectricity is the essence of everything. The problem is just for a long time, right? And this is where like some things that people wouldn't necessarily connect the dots on, and this is where they become very relevant. Our science was divorced from the concept of God. And so because it was the religious folks here and science over there, science could not incorporate anything that was energy based because energy is the world of spirit. It's just how our ancestors, conversed about energy, right? So if you can't see it and touch it, it's in science says it's an energy. Ancestors say it's spirit, right? So and folks will say, no, it's a little bit different because, it's energy, but it's conscious, it's coherent. What I would say is dig back into those early experiments when they started to discover plasma and start looking at the early definitions of plasma and they say, oh, well, yeah, well, plasma is coherent and it's coherent energy and coherent domains of electrons. And once you start reading those definitions, you go, got it. So science couldn't really incorporate, so like we inherited a science where our bodies, we're told, runs on iron, right? But those same textbooks don't mention magnetism. We have textbooks that says our bodies are filled with pigment, but no conversation of light metabolism.
Mm,
We have an electron transport chain, like millions of them throughout our body. We have more electron transport chains in our bodies than we have cells, right? But no conversation of electricity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the inheritance of that, so they left light, they left electricity, and they left magnetism off the table because those things was more related or relegated to the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? Because light is the progenitor of electricity and magnetism. Electricity and magnetism come together and make light. And, when you hit a conductor or, pigment, that light can be broken back into electricity and magnetism. And there are too many conversations because our holy books tell us that God is light, like not in any uncertain terms. Like literally,
yeah,
they
in,
say
in the
he's light.
beginning, God was light. Yeah, that, yeah.
So it gets spooky, which is where Einstein, the Jewish man, like we forget Einstein's a Jewish man. We forget that's how it got spooky. That's where we get spooky action at a distance. That's where we get quantum entanglement. That's literally where things got spooky for him because he's a Jewish guy that left his Jewish roots to go over into this atheist science universe. And then he gets to the most advanced and he goes, "Ooh, ooh, wait a minute now. This is spooky. This guys, you know what, guys? I kind of learned about this already. And yeah, they like, what? Where you learned about this? How you learned about this already? This is cutting and nobody knows about this. You're like, I learned about this. I don't even want to tell y'all where I learned about. Yeah, the Torah, the Bible. Yeah, in the holy books. This is where he's already learned about quantum entanglement. Yeah, something that's way over there that's communicating with something way over here instantaneously. It'd be faster than light speed. Yeah, that's yeah. We had other words for that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it got spooky. You know what I'm saying? But they couldn't call it spooky action at a distance because again, the term spooky was caught up in spirit, and then spooky also became a derogatory term for black folks. You forgot black folks were spooks. So that gets real crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like so yeah, that there's a lot of different
I typed in spooky action at a distance and quantum entanglement came up.
yeah, pops right up. They had to get rid of the title, they had to get rid of that spooky action at a distance and replace it with quantum entanglement. That's a much more scientifically sociable term, but that's literally what it is. It's things that are, you know, entangled. Like most of us know the term entanglement now from Jada Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I had an entanglement with a young man.
Says here,
So,
Einstein famously called entanglement spooky action at a distance since the particles seem to be communicating faster than the speed of light. Yeah.
yeah, at large distances away from each other. So it gets really crazy when we go down that rabbit hole because we know that our body is running on subatomic particles. Like literally, we don't see it that way. We just don't use these words and terms, but that's what it is. When we turn glucose into when we break glucose down, right? And we run it, we take the six carbon chain, chop it down into two, three carbon chains, and then we chop that down into a two-piece and a singlet, that singlet carbon. We couple two oxygen atoms with that, boop, carbon dioxide, get that out of here. Two-piece carbons. We run those through the tricarboxylic acid cycle. Those go off to making cholesterols and testosterones and all those other things. And we have the NAD and the FAD, that fuels the cytochrome 1 and 2 and funnels protons and so Electrons and protons do the magic. Electrons and protons recycle ATP, and then oxidized ATP releases exothermic energy, which is, light at a very small, layer, and our cells run on that light that's released from the oxidization of ATP.
That's
That's
crazy.
recycled by subatomic particles. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it gets crazier when we figure out, like, when we add that other part in. Like, that's cool to just think about that in terms of our body. Like, we want to get deep on the health information. Like, but then you add the quantum entanglement in. It's like, wait a minute. So it's possible that the sun is in constant communication. The particles that are in the sun, that are producing the heat in the sun, that are producing the solar system, are in constant communication with the particles that are in my mitochondria right now. That's quantum entanglement. So yeah, so it gets, it gets spooky. It gets spooky. You know what I'm saying?
It
To the point
gets
where people don't even want to go that far down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it
so I
gets
just, I just try to take it, to where it's, we just keep it at the biceps and triceps and the, diabetes. We just keep it right there as much as possible. Every so often I'll drop a different type of book, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's some other books I just put a book out called Yahweh is Aten. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some very choice responses about that book.
Yahweh is our 10. That's definitely going to get them.
Yeah,
That's going to
like,
get the people going. That's
yeah,
controversial.
yeah, yeah. But it's factual, you know what I'm saying? Like, just people just they don't really understand the history on Yahweh on I-10 or the science. Like, once we get to the science and we figure out this whole sun concept and we get it, like, which is coming. It's happening slowly but surely. Like, people are getting like the synthetic. They don't realize where they're moving towards. That's another aspect of quantum entanglement. You know what I'm saying? Like, information. This is why breathing, like when we inhale, it's called inspiration. We listen to rap all day and we don't understand the power of entendres. Like, we don't really understand these words. Like, we don't get the fact that inspiration is where thoughts come from, but inspiration is also inhaling, like, what? Subatomic particles. Like, we don't get it. We're inhaling these quantumly entangled particles and getting inspiration. Like, it's all right. It's okay. It's coming. The information's coming. Like, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because, the ancestors be whispering in my ear, then I, put the books out. But that's what they say, you want to hide something from folks, put it in books. I'm just trying to bring the wave back. Like, I was one of those children, like, you know, watching Reading Rainbow. You take a look, it's in the book, the Reading Rainbow. Yeah, I believe in that.
Now, Doc, you know you back in Hotep court this week, right?
Man, that's because you gonna have to be my co-defendant in some of these cases, bro. Just
I'm the
because
I'm
you
the, I'm
hot.
I'm the plaintiff this time.
Oh man, that's crazy.
I'm the plaintiff this time.
This is some real Diddy Cassie situation. Like, the family is break. What's going on? This is wild right now.
You go in the Hotep court. You got a violation of copyright infringement of property of Hotepistan.
I'm probably guilty.
Okay, are you pleading guilty? I didn't even tell you what the details of the case yet. Do you already want to
But
plead
but
guilty?
but don't, yeah, like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with the plea bargain? Like, could I get a deal?
That's up to the jury. That's up to the jury to
Nah,
decide.
that's not how the plea bargain goes. The jury don't come until it's a trial. I'm trying to make a plea bargain in advance. I'm trying to hit him with the young thug. Like, listen, I'm gonna plead guilty and just going back to the house right now. I'm gonna just plead guilty, Your Honor. Listen, I've been wilding a little bit. Sometimes I be making a left when I should have made a right. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I'm just going back to the house and be good. No more doing my, I ain't gonna do that again. You know,
Things don't work like that in Hotepistan. That's only works in America. Okay, in Hotepistan, everybody goes on trial. Okay. Now, we had an individual by the name of Hotep Goldstein. We said to him we needed the name of the podcast, and he spit out KeMedicine. I said, wow, that's a hell of a name. We're going to rock with that. And then a week later, a one Dr. EnQi takes the name, puts it on the book, and starts selling it without any conference with his partner, Hotep Jesus, saying, hey, look, I'm going to use this name and I'm going to start making money off of this name. No conference whatsoever. Just started cashing in on the name that we, as a group, were supposed to be cashing in on. Unfortunately, he grabs it, throws it on the book.
Well, you know what? You are my co-defendant. Because guess what? You never mentioned Hotep Goldstein. You never mentioned Hotep Goldstein because throughout this book, I made sure that I let people know that you came up with the name. Because that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So Hotep Goldstein, my deepest apologies. Hotep Goldstein probably like, hold up, how y'all looking? Y'all looking good out there on them streets. Y'all looking great out there with KeMedicine. Y'all ain't even giving players a shout out. I didn't know.
That's not going to work for me.
You was too much of a silent partner.
I'm sorry, that's not gonna work for me. I don't give a fuck about credit. I care about them goddamn fiat notes. Okay, so I'm glad my name's in the book. However, what's the splits? We gotta talk splits. That's the only way you getting out of this one. I want to see royalty estimates, and we need splits on this book. Let's talk dollars. Let's talk cents. I'm from New Jersey.
All right, we work on it. We figure something out.
No, we figured something out. We here live right now. I want 40%. I want 40% of all proceeds from the KeMedicine.
Just lock me up. I'm gonna go to jail and make license plates. I'm gonna just do my time and come back out.
Oh, we boycotting EnQi. There is no jail. It's exile in Hotepistan. It's exile. You're excommunicated.
Oh, man. You gotta send it to the jury.
Jury, what's the decision on this? How do we handle this? Is 40% too much? Because Goldstein got to get his cut. I got to get my cut. What do y'all say, jury? How we doing this? They thinking 40 is steep? Okay. What's the good number? 20%? 39%? 66%? Oh, man.
I'm gonna just make a new cover for the book.
25%?
Yeah. I'm gonna just make a new cover for the book, man. It's ugly out here in these streets.
We need royalty estimates on all the sales while it was KeMedicine. I'll settle on 25%. And that means you get a partner in the promotion of it. It means I get to push it out. Because at first I didn't want to push it out. I'm like, hold on now, we didn't negotiate this. But, you know, with me as a partner in the KeMedicine book, you get increased sales. I need 25%.
I think we cooking now. I think we might be cooking.
See, I had to help you out. I'm a business shrewd. I had to help you out. You got to think dollars and cents. I think dollars and cents.
Now we might be cooking. Yeah, I think we might be cooking. That sounds good.
Coach said, HJ negotiating like a Jew. I'm proud. This is what we do, man. I got Jew
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
blood.
yeah. Yeah, I think that we're going in the right direction. We might have to get him down to like 7%, but we
Whoa, whoa, oh my God, whoa. Shh, dude, it was. The lowest I could go was 26%.
he said 26. That's the God number. Yeah, how many times, like how many words is in this book? Let me see how many words is in this book. Let me see how many words is in this book. And let me see how many times, like how many times does KeMedicine appear? What percentage of
How
the
many
word?
followers you got? What do the sales of the book look like when I go on Joe Rogan next time?
Deal. You had to twist my arm. Like that was disgusting.
we gotta we gotta think about things like this, you know? You know?
That's
26%. There it goes.
what did you say? 19?
26.
No, I think we was at 20, and yeah, I think we was at 20.
My number was 30. That's what
No,
my
your
number
number
was.
was no, your number was 40. And then somebody said 66. You had some crazy numbers.
Well, 40 was our starting point. I was trying to negotiate down to 30.
Yeah.
Now you coming with the 19 keys with the 19.
Yeah.
That sounds
Look,
crazy.
I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, you and Ghost, but y'all wasn't up late at night typing.
It's a tax on there for moving a little snaky and just taking it and running with it. Okay, that's what the
Ah,
tax is.
nah, you was aware.
I wasn't aware until it was published, sir.
I told you that I was writing a book on it. That's what I do. I write a book on everything. Everybody that knows me know I write a book on that. I'm starting. Well, we starting the show. It's called KeMedicine. Okay, well, I'm gonna get the book together. But I,
25%.
but I like the idea.
25%.
25% sounds. I like the concept.
And I'm going on college tour too. So you missing out. You missing out. You not see. I got people running for mayor of Richmond, and they got six shows lined up for me to speak to college students. These are kids that are actively buying books. All I need is 1 minute. All I need is one mention, and you end up in a university. It's big. It's big.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what you said? 22. Listen, this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. So what you're saying is 25 and all charges are dropped.
25. All charges drop.
Yeah.
Frank said 25%. EnQi. Coach said 30% on the first 1,000 copies, and 15 in perpetuity. Damn, he really fucking negotiating. Damn. Somebody said if we do the deal, you buying 2 copies. EnQi could be a college course. You see what I'm saying? 25%, and you bring at least one other book on JRE. Imagine I go to JRE with your book in my hand. That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy because I don't even know what JRE is.
Joe Rogan experience.
Oh,
That's the JRE. You know what I'm saying? Plus future charges. This exonerates him from future charges. I don't know about that one.
diplomatic immunity. Diplomatic immunity.
For 3 charges, that's too much. One charge. One future charge.
A get out of jail free pass. I don't know about that because I could get charged by the next episode. I'll probably be. Listen. I get in trouble a lot.
Markel said no immunity in Hotepistan. That's true. There's no immunity in Hotepistan.
What
That
is
is
going
true.
on with Markel? Markel, what is going? That's crazy. This is a negotiation. All things on the table. Even though it's really not much of a negotiation because it's just, yeah, it's rough out here in these streets.
Who has Biden's auto pen? 25 and we start pushing it. 25 and we can start pushing it tomorrow.
Nah, we can close the deal. We can close the deal. We might have some sweeteners and some adjustments, but I'm with you.
See, EnQi don't even know what I'm about to do for him. Cause I got
Nah,
some,
nah, nah,
I got some
you.
other shit cooking too.
No, you got a lot of shit cooking. You got a lot of shit cooking. Like I told you earlier, before we even got into court and negotiations, I told you, janitor, private, sergeant. I'm just happy to be on the HJ team. I'm good wherever I'm at. I'm flying the planes. I got the remote control operating the drones. Like, I'm good, Yeah.
All right, say less. Say less. We gonna start cooking tomorrow. We gonna start pushing the KeMedicine book. There it is, chat. There it is. Drone warfare is crazy nowadays. Me and EnQi got some digital shit we cooking up. I'm still making sense out of it. I got an app in the App Store review right now. We got another one we working on. We working on some things. We got some things cooking. You know what I'm saying? I gotta hit my number this year. I gotta hit that number this year. We're talking about at least $250,000 in revenue this year. That's the goal. $250,000 in revenue, and we could take Hotepistan to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Alchemist said we just got a light negotiation course. Yeah. I think we had a fantastic episode.
That was
tonight.
not a light negotiation course. What you saw is a man under threat, duress, and coercion getting clotheslined and leg dropped up here. What I'm gonna say, that don't package that to the folks as a light course in negotiation. That was a light course in terrorism. What I'm gonna say, he said, well, Inky, give me 99%, I take it on Joe Rogan. What I'm gonna say? I got babies. I'm like 98. I mean, just 98. Like 98.
There it is. Y'all heard it. 98. We got 98, y'all.
It's rough out here in these streets.
That was a stick up. Nah, sir. We doing business. We doing business. We trying to make Doc. We trying to raise his level. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm happy to be able to, whatever. Like it's
Last time I went on there, I mentioned Shaka and Dr. Kaba Kamene. Them niggas, Kaba reached out to me. I ain't had no contact to him. That nigga tracked me down and said thank you. Changed that nigga life. That nigga been on tour ever since. Shout out to Kaba.
Kaba's my mentor, low key. A lot of people attach me to Sinetta, but Kaba was the one that, yeah. Like a lot of people attach me to Sinetta, but that's not exactly how I got into the.
Was that the cell phone store when his son came in?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I was selling phones in Verizon, and then so I started kicking it with them there, and way later on, I'm on 125th looking for DVDs and all that, and Sinetta's filming Kaba, and he got like a whole crowd of people, and Kaba's like, yeah, there go one of my students right there. and pointed in my direction. And me being dumb, I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm looking around like, I want to see who he talking about too. And he like, you, brother, tell me we talking about the book. Cause he had put me on to a couple of books. But the one book that we really started going in about was a book called Animals in the Digestive System. Yeah, the acronym to the book was AIDS, and this is back in the days when AIDS was the crazy, like the crazy topic, you know what I'm saying? But the book was Animals in the Digestive System, and crazy book. If you haven't read the book, y'all should go get that book. That's a crazy book. It talks about how all of the animal, and I had never thought of it that way before I read that book, but animals are like people in a way. You know what I'm saying? They get all the diseases that we get: cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, infections, cold, flu, everything. Alzheimer's, like, and you never think about eating sick animals. How does that make you? You know what I'm saying? So it changed my view of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible has a wicked teaching that a lot of people don't, it's one of my beefs early on with Christians and Israelites. I was like, do you know the description of the filthy animals in the Bible? What is that description? Like, it says that the animals that eat other animals are the filthy animals. And so, yeah, these are the clean animals that you can eat. Notice that all the clean animals that you could eat were animals that didn't eat other animals. So I was like, did y'all notice that the Bible was basically saying that you're filthy if you eat other animals? I'm just saying, because technically we're all animals. So if we're animals that eat other animals, that makes us filthy animals. Like, just wanted to know, like, just put that bug out there. Like, we might want to look at that book again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very interesting statements in there, some crazy points in there. So yeah, I had some epic battles with my Bible thumping brethren about the dietary laws and the Bible, inspired by animals in the digestive system. But yeah, so he, like, they had me teaching, they were teaching me the fine art of teaching up in Infudici's dojo. So that's where I first started, like, speaking and lecturing, was in Infudici's
I
dojo.
love these little history moments of this conscious community. I love these.
Well, it was like a division. It was like Civil War back in the day. So you had the West Side versus the East Side. So on the West Side, it was militant. It was the white man is the devil and all that. And then when you came down, because you got on 7th Avenue, you got Mecca. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the nation, the gods and herbs right there. What is that, 127th Street, right there in 7th Avenue, across the street from the Empire State Building, or 126, 126, 127. And then around the corner, across from the Apollo, you got, Sinetta. Right in front of Apollo, you got all the Nuwabians, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was all that side of 125th. But then when you come down to Madison, you got all of the spiritual folks, you know what I'm saying? So that's where you can find the crystals and the chakra conversation and sex magic.
Wait. If you walking down and Apollo's on the left, Sonnet
Down
is on
from
the
which
right.
way though? When you say walking down from which
That's what I'm
way?
about to explain, right? So
Okay.
if Apollo's on the left and Sonnet is on the right, and I'm walking straight,
Yep.
that's going
You're
towards the spiritual cats.
basically, yeah, you got a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're walking from like St. Nick, 8th Avenue. You're walking from like the A train straight over. And so you get off on the A train and you get the 125th experience. You know what I'm saying? You walk from the A train to the 4 train. That's St. Nicholas all the way over to Lexington. You know what I'm saying? And but on Madison, right over there, between Madison and Fifth Infudishi had the dojo. So martial arts stuff, comedic stuff, like all of that was down there. Shaka came along later. He was more like an anomaly, you know, because there wasn't really the comedic thing didn't live on Sonetta side of town. That side of town was just slavery, anti-white folks. Comedic side of town was Fifth Avenue, Madison, even the Israelites, One West, you know what I'm saying? One West is right there off of Fifth Avenue. You know what I'm saying? So that's this all of the spiritual that's more on the other side. And so people got to have like their experience where they would literally do the circuit. They'll get off the train or they'll find their parking space and they'll come out there like on Saturday and they may spend a few hours on one side and then make their way down, see all the vendors and go all the way through. You know what I'm saying? They'll get some DVDs and some, go
You get
see
some good
Sonetta
books.
because Sonetta got a crowd. You know what I'm saying? He got white folks kissing his feet and going. He out there going crazy. You know what I'm saying? With the bullhorn.
And he
Um,
got that thing behind him, that
yep,
that that
with
thing
all the
he hang up
slaves
with all
and
the
the
slaves.
whippings and
Yeah.
yeah. So he got that whole scene looking crazy, and then he got vendors and everything right there. Then you got the brothers selling clothes, and you got DVD vendors and book vendors all through there with knowledge and they're, like all kind of juices and, just everything. You know what I'm saying? Then when you cross over Linux, you start to head into, a little bit different, it's more subtle. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about martial arts and Kemet and, it's more of the spirituality kind of conversation. And that's where um, Brother Kaba, Booker T. Coleman, you know what I'm saying? Infudishi, Azariah, may he rest in greatness. That's where they had the dojo, and that's where they was, doing their thing right there. So, yeah, that's where Bobby Hemmett, I first seen, Bobby Hemmett come up in there selling them angel checks.
Is he still around?
Bobby?
Yeah.
No, no.
Where is he?
Didn't I just settle some charges, man? I just settled something. I don't want to comment.
Where's Bobby at? Come on,
I don't
Iggy.
want to comment.
We've
I
been
don't
looking
want
for
to.
Bobby. Bobby's one of my faves, man. He's
Yeah,
top
stop
five dead or
watching Bob.
alive.
Stop watching Bobby.
Bobby the GOAT. What you mean,
Bobby
man?
is a menace to society, bro. You know what though? There's a space where all of our old teachers were amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like they made me, they made you. You know what I'm saying? Even if the stuff they were saying was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we needed some stuff to jog us, like to shake us up a little bit. And
Make you
only
start
problem
looking.
is for every one HJ, there's 1,000 young pharaohs, which is the problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, for every one Dr.
Shot
Inky,
Farrell's my nigga, man. Farrell's
nah,
he the truth, man.
nah, we got to separate. See, the thing is, I listen, there's a thing where I like these guys as individuals, but I just don't like what they're doing on the internet. So there's a
We
space.
gotta find Farrell. We gotta find out where he at.
He's almost with Bobby Hemmett.
Oh Lord. Where's Bobby?
So Bobby was telling people for a long time, if you have a heart attack, don't worry about the hospital. Just drink a can of soda. Don't worry about
He
no
ain't say
doctor.
that.
Oh man, Bobby got some wild stuff out there. But then Bobby had a medical emergency and, you know, it didn't go so well.
Is he with the ancestors?
No, not
Okay.
that I know of. I'm not sure, but I know his exit from the conscious community was his medical emergency. He was never the same after that. And so he just rather than I guess let folks see him like that, he just got out of consciousness altogether.
Damn.
And he had what's his name doing his bidding, Brother Rich and Brother Panic.
Yeah, Panic died too, man. I know. I got a homegirl. She live and die by Brother Panic.
Well,
Like
she
Brother
better
Panic.
watch that. Hey, 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 hey. I just was just talking about them entendres now. Careful. Careful. Because, me and Panic had beef.
Really?
I have beef with everybody that's not doing the right thing, bro.
What Panic do wrong?
Everything. Panic was activating chakras, man. Panic was literally like teaching men how to have female orgasms. Serious. I don't make me start pulling up videos and stuff, man. Like
Butt magic?
butt magic, bro.
Nah, chat. That's true. That's true, chat.
These are facts. And I didn't listen. Even with all that, I think there's a space for everything. I didn't really get like start
Chat
like
said yeah.
I didn't start addressing it until the pandemic hit. And then he did a series of videos saying, and I quote, and this is what infuriated me. You don't need no herbs. This is spiritual warfare. Me and Brother Rich are going to activate your chakras online for $99, and that's going to protect you from the pandemic. I was like, you know how you see the Super Saiyan, like how you see the Dragon Ball Z, and they go through the different bodies. They turn into like,
Going from Super
yeah,
Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2.
bro. I went to like gold level Super Saiyan. I was like, what? Every time I get out, they pull me right back. I'm like, you forcing me to say something. Y'all don't understand. We think we're separated in our little world, but the world at large doesn't see us that way. So when you do a video and you're not a health guy, you're a spiritual chakra, whatever you call yourself, you in another lane. When you start talking like that about health information, the people that watch you, that also watch me, are going to come right on over to my page and say, hey, doc, what do you think about this? And now I have a responsibility to say, wait, what? Did they say that the online chakra activation is going to protect you from the COVID? What? Why did you ask me about? I even got mad at the messenger. I wanted to kill the messenger. I was like, no, why did you? I got other plans in my life. Now you done sent me out on a dummy crash out. Like now I'm in charge. Like you've now charged me with setting the record straight. Like now that you said this to me, like I could have been ignorant to that. Like nobody had to mention that to me. That could have went on in an alternative universe where folks were getting chakra protection from and I didn't have to know about that. I'm over here NRF2 system, I'm over here talking about immune lymphat, 700 lymph nodes in the human body. I'm over here. Once you come and say that, now I'm like, okay, now I got to go in referee mode. We're going to throw a flag on the play. It's going to be 15 yards. It's not even this is just you guys are like this is a it's over. This not even a penalty. We're gonna penalize you guys the whole game. It's a forfeit.
Damn.
So
And
that
now Brother
started me.
Panic's not even here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I try not to address, just out of respect for, the people that loved him and his family, because I know what it means. Even if I don't agree with the information, I do know what it means to give your life to this. You know what I'm saying? To be like, teaching for forever, for a living. Like people don't realize like this is not a hobby for some of us. This is what we do. So it's like a fine line for me. You know what I'm saying? Like even with like you mentioned Pharaoh. Like I was pulling for Pharaoh when he was doing his martial art. Like we had beef, but when he was in the ring doing his martial arts, I was like, hey, everybody, hold on. We're cheering for Pharaoh when he's fighting. Now, hold on now. They whip Pharaoh's ass. Just understand, they believe they're whooping all of our conscious asses. Like, oh, so, oh. When he leaves the ring, we're back to ops. Just don't, like it's Switzerland right now. Time out. We with Pharaoh while he's in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it gets complicated.
You
You know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
What? Tell me how you deal with this. You know, you talk to intelligent people, or seemingly intelligent people, and they start ripping off names of people that they watch, and you know,
Oh my God.
sometimes like this is one individual. Somebody was like, "Yo, this person right here got the information." Then I'm talking to a whole nother individual. They like,
Bro.
I used to date him, and then I get those stories.
Listen, this how I deal with it. When I was in my teenage years and my early 20s, and I first started finding out certain things about food and all that, I used to go crazy on everybody everywhere. Like, yo, you know what that, right? No, hold on. That's pork, right? Do you know what that like just ruin people's plate, like, and just I enjoyed it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, no, don't have what do you know how long that's been on the shelf? Let me see the ingredients. You put that in the yeah, let's take that out of the jar. Let's go through this ingredient. Like, I enjoyed ruining people's meals. And over time, I realized that people didn't stop eating their meals. People just stopped eating their meals around me. So over time, I learned to allow people to enjoy their pork rind, their pork sandwich with pork rinds on the side with a large Pepsi and 50-cent malt liquor, like whatever they're having. I got my shot, whatever I got, yeah. I learned to, you know what I'm saying? Like I try to keep it to, like I said, when I was informed of the panic situation, I was even mad at the messenger. Like, why didn't you just leave me ignorant? Why did you tell me this? I have to act on it now. Like, you could have left me out of this. You know what I'm saying? So I try now to, not to
So you don't spoil their heroes. You just let if they those are their heroes. You just let them have them as heroes.
yeah, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you're not in the situation where you can, sometimes you have, your responsibility, you know what I'm saying? Because to whom much is given, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're in a position of responsibility. So there's going to be times where you are privy to information where you could, crush the building, so to speak, and ruin somebody's idea of someone else. And then, but that would just be like for no apparent reason. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? It's almost like Dame Dash, like you chatty patty. This is chatty patty space right here. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
I usually ruin it because people are mentioning the name and I can't help it. I just start laughing, but I can't help it. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose. They'll say the person's name and I'll start laughing. And some
It
of the
depends. Like, wait. That's why I said almost. Like, I try. I can't always do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody mentions Nature Boy, I'm like, bro, it's like, come on, like, within reason. Like, I try to be,
yeah,
but Nature Boy was a gay, a gay stripper and got a sugar daddy who bought him a barber shop and funded his conscious movement and like.
yeah. But
But Nature
sometimes
Boy
like
was good at galvanizing people's attention. You know what I'm saying? It's like
right,
because people don't really think. They're looking at Nature Boy saying like, "Oh no, we're in nature. We're cut off from the world and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Are y'all insane? Do y'all realize he's on the live stream? What are y'all?" I'm like, "Are y'all nuts? What? This is what I'm saying. This is like the health guys with the steroids." I'm like, "Yo, he's on a live stream. That requires Wi-Fi and them computers need to be charged." I said, "Are y'all nuts?" So, like it's I try.
yeah, yeah.
That's all you can do is try.
We work with them. We work
And
with
none of
them.
us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
also keep that in my mind. Like I'm still in the process of becoming. You know what I'm saying? So, I judge myself harshly. So I know that others will probably judge me harshly. So I just try to, I try. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to let people evolve and give people space. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes responsibility. Sometimes, you can be Clark Kent. Sometimes you have to run in the phone booth. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
situational.
All right. Another KeMedicine in the books. Volume 6 is on the shelf. Volume 6 is on the shelf. Shout out to Alchemist. He done hooked up another set of clips. No, I'm sorry, Non was doing the clips for KeMedicine. Shout out to Non Laws. He dropped another clip from last week. We put that on the timeline this week.
Yo,
Shout out
that
to Non.
background music is epic. So shout out to him with the background music.
Word up, word up.
But yo, this is kind of crazy. Like 6 episodes, I done had like 7 charges already. Like this, wow, bro.
Only 3, or is it 2? I think you only had 2 charges.
2 charges?
Yeah, you only went to court.
I had at least
twice.
2 or 3 charges the first time. I be getting groups of charges when I get brought up.
All right, maybe it was 3.
Having groups of charges, man. I got to keep my nose clean.
I'll let you know that at this juncture there are no pending charges. Okay, so the charges you had this week was on the books 3 weeks ago, but I can rest assured that there's nothing in the docket for the future so far.
Yeah, so far.
But anything can happen in a week. Anything can happen in 7 days.
Especially with me. Man.
We watching your channel. We watching your YouTube channel very closely. So if any violations have popped up.
I gotta thank the Hotepistan family for that. You know what I'm saying? Because Hotepistan people are like the James Brown people from back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Like, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. They come into the chat like, yo, this is such a Hotepistan. Like they announce themselves from Hotepistan. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely
we outside all summer. Hotepistan is the clique, the empire. We outside all summer. Shout out to Hotepistan.
Shout out to Hotepistan, man. Flag, wave. You need a whole flag and everything. Like
we got flags, we got uniforms coming, we got a lot. Trust me, we cooking. We just focus on the most important thing first, galvanizing the culture, the mighty green dollar. But we got uniforms coming. We got the Hotepistan Bible coming soon. We got religious texts coming soon. Yeah, it's gonna get really serious, But technology, health comes first. So we're working on technology, health, and money. And then we'll get to the uniform soon. So the uniform's coming soon. I'm waiting for a seamstress to cross our paths. Once we get a seamstress cross our paths, we're going to have the official Hotepistan uniforms and accessories coming soon.
Yeah, that needed an explosion. That might have been a terrible explosion, but I tried.
Don't worry, I got the sound effects going. Ladies and gentlemen, another KeMedicine in the book. EnQi, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you next week, brother. Be safe.
You. Yes, sir.
Hotep.
Yeah, in the IB, where the post they lie. Electron spin, got a rhythm to survive.